Good morning, ladies. Good morning to those of you here in the Woman in Flow Collective group. It is Friday. It's about 10:28 a.m. Central Standard Time. I am Lena, Lena Dolter, and you're here for a reason. And if you're not here for a reason, maybe you just came here a long time ago and you don't even know why you're here anymore. Maybe you don't get notifications and you aren't active in the group. I am aiming to change the way that this group operates, and my intention is that it becomes a place for us to be what the title is, the Woman in Flow, the Collective. And I'm going to start that today. I went live on my personal page today to talk about where I've come from, what I've done, where I've been, and how I got here. But I wanted to come in here specifically to talk to you because you're a special little group that I love. And like I said, I'm declaring my intention for this group, and it's moving forward in a way that becomes more connective for us all. And what I want to share with you today is where I come from. So you might not know this about me, but I have been in pharmaceutical sales for over 16 years. I left the industry in January of this year. I separated from my last company. This is the first time I've ever done that. So I wasn't laid off. I wasn't fired. I had a claim and an experience that got me, that afforded me the opportunity to literally separate. Kind of like if you're married and then you get divorced and there's a settlement, like that's what happened. To give you a little backstory, I had a very strong sense that this last job was going to create huge change for me. Some of you came to this group because you know that I was a love coach, right? And you probably joined this group from a summit that I had produced, in the past few years. And in the past few years, I have changed and evolved, and who I am and what I do has changed and evolved, just like you are changing and evolving every day. And it became very clear to me in the past couple of years that my life was going in a different direction. That what I wanted to do in the world, not only what I wanted to do, but what I'm being called forward to do, what I am meant to do in the world, has been showing itself to me in a lot of different ways. Primarily from feeling really disconnected from my job, from my career. So I want to just get back to the doing and over controlling. So my career created this sense that I had to be doing something all the time. So if you're watching this later, I would love for you to just type later in the comments and let me know if this resonates for you. So I'm just going to continue to share my story. And if you connect with it, please like it, so that I know I'm speaking to something that brings you value. If I don't know that I'm speaking to something that brings you value, then what ends up happening is I bring you stuff that's not important to you, and it's kind of a waste of time for both of us. So if it's bringing you value, please let me know. This is important for me so that I continue to bring you value inside the group. If it doesn't bring you value, please post a question or comment on this video and tell me what would bring you more value. What is something you want to know more about, so that I can make sure that you are feeling heard and seen and valued in this group, because that's something that I didn't allow myself to feel for a very long time in my life. So, and it was perpetuated by my job. So because I was successful, because I knew how to get the job, because I knew how to make it look like I was doing everything right, that actually caused this intense amount of pressure inside of myself to perform all the time. And to bring it out of work and just talked about, like, let's even talk about how that affects your relationship. So it affected my relationships because I was always in my head, and it affected my self-confidence because I was questioning what I should be doing, what I should say, how I should show up. And all of that piled on and clouded my intuition, clouded my clarity. So I was completely disconnected from how I felt and what I want, not only how I was completely disconnected with how I really felt and afraid to share it, because I was afraid of what other people would think about it. That stemmed from my work life. Because if you're a woman and you have a career inside of a corporation, you likely have some sort of connection, if not a lot of connection, with men in the workplace. And living in the world that we live in as a patriarch and a white man society, we are under the pressure in ourselves to produce and be like a man. We are taught very early, subconsciously, that it is not okay to share how you feel, that it is not appropriate to share how you feel, and that a woman should not speak up. So all of that is in you, whether it was taught to you verbally or not. It's in the experiences that you've had in your life, because it's the world that we live in and it's the era in which we've grown up. So that is what happens in the work world, and that absolutely transitions and moves into how you show up in your relationships outside of work. So if you're a woman who wants love and you want to create deep connection, but you're feeling stifled in your work environment and you don't trust yourself to communicate clearly or open and honestly without some sort of fear, right? Like fear of rejection, fear of getting let go, fear of being put on a plan, fear of losing your job, all of that is impacting your relationships outside of work as well. And like I said, for me, it clouded my self-confidence. It clouded my clarity. My body was sending me signals and I could hear them sometimes, but because I was so overactive in my mind and trying to figure out what I should do next or how I should do it, the lessons from my body and the wisdom from my intuitive nature were not as easy to hear, because that wisdom and intuitive nature is a softer voice within you. It's not something that screams really loudly. So the active mind that you have and the overwhelm that you're feeling in the sense of trying to control your environment and trying to show up as somebody expects you to, and to be doing all the things, that is a louder voice. That is a louder energy. And so when you're living in that space, you absolutely cannot hear the intuitive nature of your body. You cannot hear your intuitive rhythm. So that's all to say that that's why along the way I've had help, right? Like along the way I've had therapy, along the way I have had a coach of my own to help me with my business, a coach of my own to help me in relationships. And over the last couple of years, it became really clear to me that I have some tools inside of myself that need to be nurtured and brought to the surface to share with others. And that is what brought me to create my own process, which is called Woman in Flow, which is why I call this group Woman in Flow, the Collective. Woman in Flow is a process that incorporates balancing with, it helps you. It's what I've created to help you, because it helped me, balance doing with being, with feeling, so that you can reconnect to your body's wisdom and always hear your intuition. That is what a woman in flow is. A woman in flow ebbs and flows with the energy within her and the energy around her. And all of it is together. It's very fluid. I know it feels nebulous and weird, but if you're connecting to this, please say so in the comments, because it is actually a thing. Like, you have an internal structure that is within you already. So my process doesn't impose anything upon you. It accesses that which is within you that you cannot hear or feel or access, because you are in a constant state of overdoing, trying to control, and trying to show up as other people would have you show up. You're trying to figure it out. And in that, you're losing the connection to yourself. And what you want most, because I wanted it too, was just to know what to do. You want clarity. You want to be able to move forward with courage and confidence. And you can't. You feel stuck. It's because you're in your head, and it's because you might be even trying to bypass feelings that are uncomfortable because you believe you should be in high vibration all the time. In my process, Women in Flow, we work together to embrace emotions that come up for you, and we work through where they're coming from, and we heal them so that you have the tools to get yourself out of. And you also end up embracing who you are as a woman, all of you, because when you want a deep relationship, when you want deep connection in your relationship, you absolutely have to, and I know this from experience, you have to have that connection with yourself first. You cannot go out on a date and expect a deep connection to form if you are not deeply connected to yourself. You cannot expect someone to see all of you when you are not seeing all of yourself. You cannot have that deep intimacy that you want in your loving, nurturing, caring, abundant relationship when you are not nurturing yourself. So I'm going to leave you with that because it feels like a good place to land. And this is my Friday flow. I would encourage you to comment on the video. Please tell me what you think. And if this resonated for you, I need to know. I want to know so that I continue to bring you value. Have a beautiful day, my ladies. May your Friday flow.